Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Beyond the 90. I got Neil and Ant with me again today. You right, Neil?
I'm all right, James, yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Looking forward to this one. I think it'll be quite funny at times. And Ant's here as well. You right, Ant?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. I have a feeling there'll be quite a few players that we disagree on, so it'll be quite interesting to hear what you guys
Yeah,
have
no doubt Neil will just have beef with both of us all the way through this.
to
Is this the new meme that you guys are saying?
say.
It's me and my 15 followers, leave us alone. Which include half of them are you guys, so.
We've also got a YouTube channel now. Just search Beyond the 90. It's a Fox's fan channel. Just have a look at there. Subscribe to us and have a look at our videos. All the podcasts will be on there, as well as the usual platforms. Right, guys, let's get straight into it. Start off with Kasper Schmeichel. Ant?
It's obviously going to be a keep for Schmeichel. I wouldn't be surprised if he was captain next year as well.
Well, that's a good shout. I think keep as well. Neil?
Yep, same with you guys, keep.
Well, that was an easy one. Going across to Danny Ward. I don't know, if I'm perfectly honest.
I think keep. I think he's a brilliant backup, and he seems to be happy as a number 2.
Yeah, I agree. As a number 2 that's blatantly not going to play that much, he's gonna do all right, and that's what we need, to be honest. Until Schmeichel has a whoopsie, and last season he did all right coming in for the cup games, and that's exactly what we need him for. So yeah, keep.
Yep, I'll go with both yours. Keep. Seen him a few times. Seems okay. I just think, do we need a goalkeeper that's going to challenge Schmeichel? Because he seems to be, he's always there, isn't he? Let's be honest. But we need like competition in positions.
Have we ever had? This is the closest, most competitive goalkeeper that I've seen that's going to become placed with second place. Do you see what I mean? And
Yeah.
to be fair, is there any other team in the Premier League that's got a goalkeeper that can really compete?
That's a good point, to be fair. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Maybe like Ramsey, Boric, and not Benkovic. What's his name from Bournemouth? Not Benkovic. I can't remember. Anyway, so there's a couple there, but apart from that, so I'd keep Danny Ward for sure.
Okay. I'm going to try and pronounce these names and might get some of them wrong. Other goalkeeper, Jakupovic.
I'd let him move on, to be honest. Sell him and then bring in Daniel Iverson, who's been out on loan. I think at Oldham this year, obviously the young keeper we've got, and sort of progress him to be part of the first team squad. Because Jakupovic is what, 35 now?
Yeah, 35. I don't remember him playing at all this season, if I'm honest.
No, the last time I can remember him playing was when we played Arsenal at home about 3 years ago. He did quite well in that game, to be fair, but I don't think he's made an appearance since then.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, I think the same. I think get rid, bring the new keeper back. So they've obviously sent him out on loan to get some experience, because they obviously think and I think I've heard great things that he will be a good goalkeeper. He probably just needs time and coaching. So I'd bring him back and get rid of him. Neil?
Yep, keep as well. I think you guys have nailed it.
You want to keep it?
Sell, get Iverson in. That's what I'm thinking of, Iverson.
Okay. So there's the goalkeepers done. They're the quick ones. So going across to defenders, Ben Chilwell, Neil.
Just for time's sake, I'd just say keep. To be honest, unless we get good money for him, but that's not the point.
Controversial here, aren't I? I'm going to say sell if the right offer comes in. Not like actively look to sell him, but if Chelsea do come in with sort of a 50+ million bid, sell him, because there is better players out there available for that money.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I would sell as well if the right money came in for him. He's not had the best of seasons. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's learning. But he has made some crucial mistakes this season. And to me, he seems like someone that's had his head turned. Maybe Chelsea conversations have already been happening. I don't know. He just doesn't seem the player he was this last season or at the start of the season. So I think, yeah, right. If the right money comes in, 50 million plus, we can get 2 great players for Ben Chilwell. And I think that's good. And we've got James Justin in the sidelines. He could slot straight into that if we needed him to.
And
Yeah.
Christian Fuchs, if he decides to stay on, which we'll
Yep.
come to in a bit.
Yep. Okay, moving on to Ant's favourite player ever, Soyuncu.
Oh, keep and give him a knighthood.
Sir Soyuncu, that just runs off the tongue.
I'm with you. I would keep. I think again, he's young. I think personally, he has got a lot to learn. There are times where he goes a bit gun ho, and coaching will do that. So I think he's only going to improve, which is a great thing. So we've all seen him play this season, and he's been magnificent. I just think he will improve, and I think with Johnny Evans there with him, or someone mature like that who's guiding him, I think he'll only get better. So I agree. I agree. Keep him. The only thing I would say is his agent currently seems to have different views on that.
I think his agent's just trying to get a new contract, to be honest.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, that's what I think as well, to be honest. And that's the same for a lot of star players. I think we'll come to in the rest of the list as well, because we've got a lot of players that are their earning potential is probably more than what they are currently on. But that's the disadvantage. That's the risk you run with buying young players and training them up at the same time.
The thing that I've seen like links to him with Liverpool and United, and I even think that's a Barcelona one. But realistically, for the amount that we're going to charge for him, with the current situation, I can't see many clubs being willing to spend that money, even if they are sort of the big clubs in the game.
Yeah, and if you look at somebody like a Liverpool side, where they've got Van Dijk, obviously Soyuncu's not going to come ahead of that. They're trying to train up. Lovren will move on, but there's other centre backs they've got in like Joe Gomez. They've got some decent centre backs already in there, so he'll be really competing for spaces. He'll get a pay raise, but it's not the highest wages. Like for example, if he goes to a Man United, so I think we'll hold on to him, and then if somebody does come in for a bid, we'll just charge an extraordinary amount just to put them off. Same as we did with Maguire.
Yeah.
I know we did that with Maguire, but I personally think the whole transfer market now will be a completely different ball game with this pandemic, because the clubs are not going to have as much money. Not just ours, all clubs. We've seen that Man United are the only ones so far to release their first quarter profits during the pandemic, and they're massively in debt and massively at losses. So I think we'll see that on a lot of teams, and I think the transfer market may well be a bit different than we've ever seen before. So only time will tell, but let's see what happens. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Going on, Wesley Morgan. Neel.
Go
for it, Ant.
I was going to say I would sell him. Well, you wouldn't even sell him. It would be him retiring. You would have to feel or leaving on a free, because I know club legend, everything he's done for the club, but does he really have a role anymore? And he's on too much money to have around for sentimentality reasons.
Yeah, I could see that. I see he's better at a coaching role now, and that's pretty much what he's been all year as well. He's just been a bit part player, but so he's just going to step up when necessary. But I can see what you mean. The only reason why you keep him around is for morale reasons and to keep that kind of captain's role. But as you can tell, he's not really been involved this season. So I think he knows his fate. It depends on what he wants to do. And I think the club will work with him and find the best option, which will probably be moving on.
Yeah, totally agree with what you're both saying. The only thing I will say is, yes, he's good for the kids. Yes, he's good for morale, etc. But £60,000 a week for a cheerleader is a bit expensive.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you were saying about coaching and stuff, but we've got Kolo Toure, one absolutely incredible centre back in his day. I don't see how they would both fit in the coaching roles.
No, and also we don't know what Morgan's done. I mean, Toure's got all his coaching badges as Morgan got them, because you don't get them quickly. So maybe a good role for him, if that's what he wants to go into, would be like an understudy for Toure. Get your coaching badges and work your way up, because you don't just walk into coach's role. But I think there might be a job for him at the club, not as a player, but maybe as a coach. But but because of the stuff he does behind the scenes, his captaincy stuff and all that, they may well try and make him into a player coach to try and migrate him from the playing side into the coaching side. The only problem is it's going to take up one of your squad numbers.
So like a Kevin Phillips when he retired kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to go with it, to be honest, because he's undoubtedly, as you say, he's undoubtedly having a positive impact on the younger players, but it's just too much money to keep him just for sentimentality and as a cheerleader, as you put it.
Well, I'll get beef for that now, won't I?
Welcome to the club.
Moving swiftly on. Johnny Evans, keep.
Keep.
Yeah, keep.
I've not seen a defender that we've had have a greater season. Well, since he's been here, it's been phenomenal. Paid £3 million for him. But I found quite funny about the whole Johnny Evans thing is the year before we was in a transfer battle with Man City to buy him, and we were quoted 30 odd million. And then 6 months later, we paid £3 million for him.
It's because of that relegation clause, wasn't it? To treat for us.
And now he's been outstanding. Yes, he's getting on a bit, but I watch him, and not only is he great at his positioning, he's also telling Sunju where to be. So he's helping people on the pitch, and he just. I know you said earlier about Casper being captain. He'd be an amazing captain. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think he will be, and he's getting. I think he's 30 odd. I think he's 30 odd now. So he's gonna. If Wes was to leave, I think Evans is the next person to step in and then take that role. I wouldn't say take the captaincy just yet. I think that'll be another year or so. But he's that next person to fill that void at the back. He's got a great relationship with Schmeichel, with Pereira. It looks like the players really trust him, and because he's got the experience, I think he's won 5 trophies in total, including like the Champions League and stuff like that with Ferguson. So he's a top quality signing, and we do need to keep hold of him.
Yeah. I think you're bang on in everything you said.
Okay, cool. Moving on, Pereira. I would keep if we can, is what I'll say.
That's not how the game works.
I'd like to keep him. I know that if PSG came in, he would love to go to PSG. And let's be honest, PSG can afford him. So that would be my only thing, is whether PSG come in for him or not. I'd hope he stays. I hope he stays with us and win the Champions League, get that season under his belt under them, and then maybe move on. But it all depends. Well, it all depends how he recovers from his injury. We know that what he had. We know his injury. Some people don't come back from it very well, and then some people come back amazing. So let's just see how that goes. But yeah, I'd like to keep.
Yep, keep for me as well.
Yeah, he's been one of the outstanding performers this year. Probably one of our sort of most skillful players, and crucial to sort of the way we play with our fullbacks going forward. So I think we've got to try and do everything we can to keep him.
Yeah, totally agree. Christian Fuchs, keep for another year, 8 appearances. I've not seen him had a bad game, if I'm honest.
I'm 50-50 on this one. It depends on what the guy wants to do. Obviously, with the coronavirus and that hitting, it depends on what he wants to do. Whether, because he's training now, but obviously he's been with his family in New York. Whether he wants to stay or go, it's up to him. But I'll respect the decision either way.
I would say one more year for him. Just give him one more year. Particularly if Chilwell does go, it would be good to have, if we did bring in another left back, to have Fuchs there to guide the new left back in.
Okay, that makes sense. Daniel Amate.
This is a tough one. Because the thing is, when he has a decent run of games, he's looked quite good. When he looked really quite good, but I think for the years that we're going to have him, I think probably moving him on to another club is probably the best thing. And if he does and he goes to another club, I think he will flourish. But yeah, sell.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. I'm exactly the same. I don't think he's in favour under Rodgers, if I'm honest. He doesn't seem to be playing much. Well, even before the pandemic, in the reserves as well. So I think sell. Let him go where he wants to go.
Yeah, he hasn't really featured since Puel left, and even us reading something, we're hearing noise from his agent that he wants to be playing football. So you can never begrudge a player for wanting to leave just to play football.
No, totally agree. Totally agree. James Justin, keep.
Keep young
Yeah.
talent, just what we need, and he epitomises our squad and our mentality.
Yeah, keep. He's one of the future stars of our squad.
And hopefully, well, we might see the future stars of England as well.
Potentially.
If he keeps playing the way he's playing, especially with, we'll say, mentioning Ricardo out with an injury. He's looked really, really good when he's come in. And I think don't think he's got an assist, but he's coming close. And yeah, he's going to be a great player coming forward.
Yeah, I think something that's brilliant about him that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that he can play on either side at left back or right back, which, like, obviously with European football next year, sort of the potential of it, to have someone like that who will be able to fill in is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and also I agree. The also thing is, if we try to play three at the back, he would be brilliant at bombing up and down that left or right hand side, which is a really, really valuable asset to have.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, totally agree. Ryan Bennett, don't know. I would say buy. If you can get him playing like he was Wolves season ago, then he was phenomenal. And I think Rodgers has seen that in them. But he's just not appeared at all, which is just the way I just find shocking. But I would say buy be great cover.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a player with potential. I think he's got experience playing in the Europa League. He's got experience playing at the top level in the Premier League. So I'd keep him as a backup as long as he's happy to stay as backup.
I would almost try and extend his loan to see what he's about, because we haven't seen him kick a ball yet for Leicester. I know he's done well at Wolves, but it's a completely different thing playing the way Wolves do, sort of sitting deep and soaking up pressure, hitting teams on the back in the back three, than trying to play out from the back and play expansive football like Rodgers is trying to get us to do. So I'll just try and extend my loan, because I wouldn't want to jump and sign him and then him not fit into the philosophy of what we're doing.
But to be fair, he'll just basically fit in where if Amati was to go, he'll just fit in that position.
I think let's just obviously hoping to get the season up and running soon. Maybe he might play a few games towards the end of the season, depending on where we are with the league, and because obviously he'll want to see him in a competitive game to see what he's like. So,
it's a really hard one to judge when you haven't seen him play a minute yet.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, let's move on to Damari Gray.
If a good bid comes in for him, I think we should let him go. But so I'd say sell.
For me, I'm in between loan and sell, because if, as Neel says, if the right offer comes in, sell him. But I still think there's a good player within him. So if we could loan him off to a Premier League club like a Brighton or a Palace, for example, and get a year where he's playing week in, week out and build his confidence back up, we could see sort of the potential that we thought was there. But if that's not an option, I would sell him. I don't think he should be at the club next year.
I personally think that he's been told that he hasn't got a future at Leicester City.
Yeah, and I think he's had enough opportunities under multiple managers to prove himself. And when he came into the team in 2016, I remember playing against Swansea, where I think Marco Brighton came off, or one of the wingers came off, and he came on. He looked absolutely brilliant, taking on players, getting past them. And I've not seen him get better in those 4 years, bearing in mind we've got Brendan Rodgers. And I think I've mentioned this before, where you've seen likes of James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, Ben Chilwell all overtake him in that top 11 position. So that's why I don't think he's got a future. With James, I don't think he's got a future at the club, to be honest. So I'd say sell.
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed if we sold him. I just think there is a good player in there, but his confidence has just been absolutely shot.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he does need to go somewhere, whether it's loan or sell. I personally think they'll try and sell him. And if he goes to a team like Brighton and lights Brighton up, then good luck to the lad. He's tried it here and he's just not getting on being at Leicester. So maybe it's time for us to move on from him and him to move on from us.
Yeah, it'd probably be the best thing for his career.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. James Maddison, keep at all costs.
Yeah, agree. I think there's enough said. His stats and stuff this season have been pretty awesome, and he's attracted the top headlines. But yeah, keep.
Keep. Yeah, I think he's probably one of our most important players. We've got to try and keep him and hold on to him.
Yeah, I did see last night that he rattled most of our fan base, which I found quite funny.
Oh yeah, that was with the Derby shirt, weren't it?
Yeah.
Who cares? Am I the only person that doesn't care?
I was like the same. You can wear what you want. You can wear an AC Milan top.
He's in a lockdown. They're not doing anything. He's going training. He plays for Leicester. Who cares? If I saw I'd react the same way if I saw you, James, in a Derby top. I'd like, all right, somebody. I'd think he's lost a bet. That's all I'm thinking.
To be fair, if I saw James in one, I might rip him slightly more. But
it's just one of them things that what people don't get is these are employees of Leicester City. They're not fans. They're employees, and the fans just take everything so personally. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's a Cobb fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Never mind. Moving on, Marco Brighton. For me, Sel, I think we've had his best years out of him, and doesn't seem to me the player that he used to be. So I would sell.
Interesting. I think we should keep him just for one more season. See how it goes. If it goes downhill, cool. He's going to be second fiddle anyway. You know he's going to come on and do a good job with the likes of other players having bad games. Yes, he's gone, but you know you get a consistent performance and he's going to get crossed in. So I'd say keep for one more year.
I would sell him. I know it's going to be unpopular with a lot of people listening, but he doesn't fit the style that we're playing anymore. Like, I know he'll come on and put a cross in, but who's he putting it into when we've got Vardy up top? Like, Vardy's not bad in the air, but he kills a lot of our attacks by just putting aimless balls into the box.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and the next person, Harvey Barnes. Right, I'm going to say this now. I think the best thing for Harvey Barnes was the fact that the Euros have been put back a year. I've got a funny feeling that Harvey Barnes next summer will light up them Euros for England and be absolutely outstanding. He's already on the verge of the England team. He will cement his place. And watching him play for us, and unlike Damari Gray, which we said before, Harvey Barnes came to us. Sorry, was quite naive in his play. He's been coached. He's getting better and better with every single game I see that lad play.
Yeah, you can
go
on, Neel.
Oh, all right, I'll go. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. And he's one of the players that will have a really bright future with us. He's really quick, pacey. He's good with the ball. He's missed some absolute sitters this season, and he's absolutely kicked himself. He's tried too hard almost because he realised how much it means to be a Leicester fan and to play for the club and to grow up here. So overall, he's only going to get better. And we just got to keep hold of him, and hopefully he can represent us at the Euros, and then hopefully score and put him on a pedestal to be one of the best players that's ever come from our squad, and then we'll go on to be up there with the likes of Vardy, Lineker, and Heskey.
Totally agree. And
yeah, I think we've got to keep him. Like, I found at the start of the season him quite frustrating to watch because he made some like strange decisions. But with the coaching of Rodgers, as you mentioned, I think his decision making is getting better, and you can see the talent and the huge prospect that he is.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Matty James, for me, I don't think he should have played this season, if I'm honest. I don't think they'll ever get him back to his best. He seems to get injury after injury. He's had a lot of bad luck with his injuries. I think maybe try and sell him, or maybe get him on loan to get him some game time. I just don't think if we get into the Champions League, the Premier League and the Champions League, I'm not sure he'll do any good, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Matty James, what's going to happen with him is he's going to go to another club and do what Andy King's doing. He's going to be a person that's going to not play that much, but coach other midfielders how to get the best out of their game and be a bit part player. He's, again, really talented. I don't think he's quite stepped up to the level that our squad has overall. There's only a few players that really have, and we've brought in other young talent that's going to overtake him. So the best thing to do would be to sell him on.
Okay.
I agree. For one thing that makes me sort of a little bit unsure is the fact he's been under so many managers and all of them see something in him, not wanting to sell him. Because he's had plenty of chances where we could have sold him, and like obviously before all of his injuries, he was undoubtedly a good player. So it's just whether we can get that back from him, or if his injuries have sort of taken him too far and he's never going to be that player again.
I think his ability to read the game is really good, and his ability to the footballing brain that we keep talking about is there. But the ability, he probably has a role with getting the best out of other players, and rather than actually playing the expansive football that we need. So that's why I think he's in and around the squad, because he understands what all the managers wants. He's a very good, tactically aware player, but he's not good enough to get in the squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on, Mendy for me, probably sell. I don't think he's really had a good game for a season. He's not played many times. I just don't see the quality in him anymore, if I'm honest.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I'm going to say keep, because the games that he has come in, I think he's done quite well, particularly the West Ham game. And I think it was Newcastle that he's played, and he's come off the bench a few times and sort of helped us see out games. And with the obviously possibility of Europe next year, to have a player like him who's not going to play a huge amount, but when called upon, can do an okay job. I think he's exactly sort of the kind of player we need around the squad.
Yeah, I'm definitely with Ant on this one as well. I think Mendy will really do well in the squad, depending on if he wants to stay. If he wants to stay, then I'm happy to keep him. And with European football, he's going to be a really, really valuable asset for sure. He's got the experience. He knows the squad inside out. He knows his role, and he won't be playing every game as he's only played 5 appearances so far. So again, he'll be a valuable person for our squad. The thing is he going? Does he want to stay? If he does, I'll gladly keep him. But I think realistically he's probably going to want to get first team football. Since he's only like 25, 26, he'll probably want to move and get first team football. So I think we'll sell him.
Okay. Moving on, and did he keep? End of discussion.
Yeah, there's no question here. Keep.
Okay. Chowdhury, keep. Got loads of potential. I think he will. Well, might not be as good as Ndidi, but I think he'll be up there with him. So keep.
You know my answer already. And
I'd say keep. I still think he's got a lot to learn, and there's a huge difference in the level between him and Ndidi at the moment, which was shown when Ndidi got injured. But he's undoubtedly a talent and got a sort of bright future. I almost think that we need someone in between Chowdhury and Ndidi within that level.
Well, that's where Mendy could fit in, but also I think with Hamza, he can really take his game to the next level, and he's not just flying into challenges and making really rash decisions like he potentially was last year. Now he's taking his time with it. Right, when do I push? When do I attack? When do I stay back? And when can I push forward, close the space, get the ball, and just play a simple pass into a wingers or the strikers or something, and get that ball in? And I think you're only going to learn that by being around the first team squad. So I think loaning him out is not a good decision. Selling him will be not a good decision. His chemistry with somebody like Barnes is very similar, and I think they've come from the academy and they've gone forward. So yeah, I think Europe will be a brilliant example of him moving forward and him getting to that top level. So definitely keep.
Yeah, I agree, keep.
Okay, Yuri Tillemans, I think we should sign him on loan.
What, from ourselves?
When he's on loan, he seems to like be absolutely on fire and one of the best players I've ever seen down there in that central midfield role. But this season, he's just not lit it up at all. I've seen touches of magic, passes of magic, but he's just properly drifting in and out of games. But keep, they are said it.
That hurt you to say keep, didn't it?
No.
But no, I think we've got to keep him. He's such a good player, but it's just that he doesn't look as fit and sharp as he did when he was on loan. And I just think he needs to almost get that hunger back that he had when he was on loan, when he was pushing for a permanent move.
Yeah, I think I'm conflicted because The problem is he's alongside James Maddison, who's arguably one of the best players in that position in the Premier League. So he's going to look slightly down on that. But he, again, has not been as sharp. He's done some really, really good moves, which I think have been really overlooked as well. Some of the balls through that haven't quite come off, they haven't come through as assists. He's been good, but at the same time, there's some points where I've been, this is not good enough, and he should be performing at a higher level. But again, I would keep him, and we just need to find a way, as James, you were alluding to get him back to that season where he was on loan and really pushing to the top of his ability. But yeah, overall, I'd keep him.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd agree with this. He doesn't look as sort of fit and as mobile as he did when he was on loan. He almost seems a bit sort of chunkier and slower around the pitch.
Yeah, and maybe he's tried to bulk up to, because one thing he did, he used to get shoved off the ball quite a lot. Maybe he's trying to bulk up a little bit to try and cement that role and make sure he's not as flimsy as he was. Which might be a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, let's be honest, Hazard just used to get chucked off the ball left, right and centre. But if you're going to be playing that role and be that skillful, I'm not sure that's the right idea. So I'm not sure why. But he doesn't seem as sharp as he was.
I think as well, the opponents have got quite wise to him as well. They've changed the tactics in order to play against Leicester. When he came in, he was kind of an unknown. People didn't really know what to expect. They gave him more space. Now they're not giving him him and Maddison not the space they don't deserve. The difference is Maddison can 1-2 pass and get past a player. Yuri Tillemans has the ability to see the game from afar and then whip a ball in left, right, try and play a longer ball through. So I think the people have become wise to him, because last season he was pretty much assisting or scoring every single match. So coming from that to come to this, it was a downturn. And yes, there are points that you mentioned that are definitely true. And I think one thing is when he came on loan last season is that he was only playing 60, 70 minutes as well. So I don't think that much has changed in that regards. So we've got a decent backup, which we'll come on to next, who is able to fit in that role if he doesn't perform.
So going on to Pratt, I don't think he is a backup anymore.
I think he's been brilliant. Every time he's been called upon, he's been brilliant.
I honestly don't believe he's a backup anymore. I think Tillemans needs to look at himself and say, okay, I was the best here, but maybe I'm not, because Pratt's been on fire. Maybe that back seat might give him the kick up the ass he needs.
Yeah, potentially. But I agree. He's been a brilliant overall defender. When I first seen him come for Chelsea, where we were playing 1-1, I remember some of the balls he was playing to like outplay Jorginho. A real, I think, Frank Lampard-esque midfielder without the ability to have a long shot, but a box-to-box midfielder that for 25 million has been an absolute steal, and hopefully he can get more game time with us playing in Europe as well. And at times he's been starting over Yuri Tillemans, and Brendan Rodgers has seen that and given the opportunity. As you see by the 21 appearances, he's not started all the games, but I think he's up there to potentially move ahead of Tillemans, if not start. So yeah, we'll give Tillemans a definite shoves, but he'd be one of my favourites to keep.
And
yeah, I couldn't agree more. We've got to keep him, and I hope we see more of him next season, because the rare bits that we have seen of him, sort of, because I know he's started a few games, but 90% of his appearances have been off the bench. I think he's been absolutely brilliant and massively underrated.
Yeah, totally agree. Iheanacho, keep.
That's easy.
Jamie Vardy, I'm going to go with keep.
You got to keep him. Premier League top scorer.
Of course.
Playing for Leicester, who would have thought?
Exactly. Perez, I'm going to say keep, and playing in the position that he's good at. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, keep. He's best down the middle, not as a winger.
Yeah, keep him in a front three. Don't keep him in a 4-1-4-1. Stick him out on the wing and make him look a bit, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a bit stuck here. And I don't know how to get past the player. What am I doing? So we've seen that way too many times this season. So Barnes on one side, we need essentially another player like that on the other side. So we'll see. But I think hopefully with Europe coming, we can really get the best out of him playing alongside Iheanacho and trying to change up the formation and trying to play him in that position more where he feels more comfortable. In the same way that we had towards the beginning of the season with Maddison, where we used to play him on the left wing, didn't look as comfortable, moved him into the centre, and he just came alive.
The thing is with Perez, with one game that he has played down the middle, he absolutely tore it up, which was when we beat West Ham 4-1. And I know West Ham aren't the best, but we saw how good he can be down the middle. So hopefully we'll see more of that in the future.
Okay, so that's the squad of 25. We're going on to some of the fringe members, I'll call them. So let's go through these might be quite quick, and then they might not be quite quick. Starting off with Slimani, for me, if Brendan Rodgers was the type of person that wanted somebody tall for a plan B, then he might be the man for that. But Rodgers has said time and time again he doesn't want a plan B. So I think so.
Yeah, I think you're bang on. Like he could have a role with us, but Rodgers, we play in the same way from the first minute to the 90th. So there's no point having someone like Slimani.
I agree. I think we don't need him. He's had his time. Move him on to the French league.
Okay. You're having beef with the French league now. That's good of you.
Sorry?
You're having beef with the French league now.
I'm having. Why are you trying to create beef with everybody? I've just got beef with you two.
Benkovic, for me, so if he went to Bristol, got injured. He seems to get injured everywhere he goes. He is young. He might return from it. But for me, if he was good this season, then the one to got Bennett on loan, if I'm honest. Supposed to be really good at Celtic, but I've not seen anything that says that he is good. Even the few times he's played for us, he doesn't look that good.
Few times. It was only one time, and he got injured in that game as well.
No, I think I saw him in the under-21s once.
Oh, right, okay.
Well,
I thought you meant in the first team.
Yeah.
That was against Wigan where he got. There was all the hype before the game about Benkovic finally playing, and then he got injured in the first half.
Yeah. So we've got Bennett. We don't need Benkovic.
I would still be on the side of loaning him instead of selling him, but it would have to be the right loan move to like a lower Premier League club. I don't think going back to the Championship will do anything for him.
Unless they wrap him in bubble wrap and send him on loan, I can't really see us doing that. We just pretty much need to sell him. Unless you play like social distancing football where you're not allowed to touch the opposition, and even then you'll probably still get injured.
What, like
this might be the prime time to play.
You've made that joke. Stop promoting your own channel and your own Twitter with your own jokes.
Moving on to Silva. For me, Silva's head's not in it for Leicester City. We absolutely messed up his transfer, let's be honest. And then he sat for 3 months doing nothing, and that must have done all kinds of things to his head. Around he was let down, disappointment, and he just didn't come back from that. I think for him and for the club, it's time to move on.
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could have been a good player for us, but as you said, the transfer, we messed him around completely. And unfortunately, we've probably ruined the prime years of his career.
And plus, he's not going to get ahead of Maddison, Tillemans or Pratt. So he's going to be fourth figure in that position. And we've got Chowdhury. I'd argue that Chowdhury would be a better position, closing down, breaking the ball up and passing it on than Silva. So he's on a high wage as well. So I think we'll need to clear some of this deadwood, and that includes Silva. So sell. And I think he'll want to move on as well.
Don't
I need to find a way to make that about Chowdhury. But I agree that selling him is probably the best thing to do. But I do think that having another midfielder there wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because I know you're saying that we will have 4 if he comes in who play that role, but we play sort of with those 2 midfielders who start, so you almost need 2 for rotation.
Yeah, totally agree. I think if he went somewhere, he'd probably do really well. I just don't think his head's in it here. So move him on. Better for his career. He was playing a lot for his. He was playing a lot of internationals. He doesn't seem to be playing anymore, so we seem to have harmed him that way. So let the lad move on. Let him progress his career. Moving on to Diabate. I saw some great things from him, and then some awful things from him. I just don't think he's a Premier League quality player.
No.
Yeah,
You haven't heard anything of what he's done on loan either. Well, I haven't. So
he's got a
When-
goal, and even I can't pronounce the name of that team, Transport or whatever they're called. They haven't been impressed with him. So if he can't do it in the Turkish league, I don't think he'll be able to do it in the Premier League. So sell. It was worth a punt though.
Okay. Gazelle, sell. Thinks he's Riyad Mahrez, but he ain't.
I saw something brilliant on Twitter the other day, which was, like my plans, which was for Riyad Mahrez picture and then 2020 with Gazelle.
Yeah.
He's not great, is he? Let's being honest.
No. So
Yeah.
yeah, sell.
Yeah, sell as well. Bring back Ibora.
Kaputska, as I know we spoke offline, done his cruciate ligament last year and was supposed to be back, I think, January time. Not seen him since. Saw some bad things in the press that he thinks he's been treated like a slave here. I think it's because he's well down the pecking order. I think he's referring to that some of the younger lads have to clean boots, etc. And I think that's where he is at the minute. He's right down the pecking order. I've not even seen him get into the under 23s, if I'm honest. But I think, again, if he can come back from injuries, sell him. No doubt he'll go on to be one of the best forwards the world's ever seen once he leaves there. But I think at the minute he's injured, so it'd be difficult. I don't know if you could get rid of him. It might be difficult to even sell him.
I think he'll do well in something like the German league, but I don't think he'll win the Premier League.
Yeah, we were saying it off air. I'm never a fan of signing a player off the back of an international tournament, which is why we signed him from the Euros.
Yeah, I guess he fitted our strategy of buy young, train up. He could have been a really good player, but that's the risk you take with players like this. Sionchu could have been another one where it could have gone the route of Benkovic, because bearing in mind it was a last minute signing as well. So sometimes they play off, and then we get all the praise for it, and sometimes they go south, like a lot of these players. So again, it's the same thing happened with Kramaric. So he'll go somewhere, do really well, and then Leicester fans will say, well, we should have kept him, blah, blah, blah. But I think he's had his time now, so I think it's time for him to move on as well.
I think we sell him with a back clause.
Yeah, possibly. Last but not least, Andy King had his time at the club. Great servant, loyal, legend. Won League One, Championship, Premier League. Won all the spoils. For me, his time's gone. He couldn't get in the Rangers team. He went to Huddersfield. Not sure how many games he played for Huddersfield, but I think his time in the Premier League's over. Another where's one? Do you keep him? Because I know he's great for the younger ones. I know that James Maddison is always quoting King around how great he is and how much he's helped him develop. So maybe he's another player coach. I'm not sure, but I would probably try and get him off the wage bill if I could.
Yeah, I think that's the truth. And I think with Wes, the difference is he's much older. He's probably coming towards the end year of his career. With somebody like King, he's probably got another 5 years left in him. And I think potentially what he'll do is he'll go away. He'll go to Championship, do decent at Championships, just like Matty James, do really well there, and then we'll see what happens in the future. But I think in some form he might come back as like a club ambassador or something like that because of what he's achieved with the club. But I can't see a future, so probably sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's great. So that's everyone. Thanks both. It was a great game of buy, sell, or keep. I really enjoyed it. Some great conversations. So thanks, Neel and Ant.
Thank you, James.
Pleasure as always.
And I'll talk to you both next week on episode 5, where we're hoping to have a Leicester City legend on. Talk to you both later.
See you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.